Welcome to Straightforward Connection with Tommy. This video is on your AEW NXT results for this week. MLW Underground, episode number 3 can be found in this link. Matches on the show. Florida Death Match, Steve Corino versus Dusty Rhodes versus Cherry Funk. World Heavyweight Championship match, Satoshi Kojima versus Mitsuya Nagi. GTC Tournament Bout, Extreme Horseman, Simon Diamond and C.W. Anderson versus Los Maximus. GTC Tournament Bout, Dr. Death Steve Williams and PJ Freeman versus Jimmy Yang and Mike Sanders. Of course, that's old school. In the main event, Corino looked to cement himself in history as the greatest brawler of all time. But standing in his way are two bitter rivals, Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes. Experience Dusty Rhodes battle Terry Funk in the War Memorial Auditorium, the same arena that's hosted their violent contests of yesteryear. But how will Steve Corino factor in the triple threat? With no love lost between either of these men, what will happen with the rule book thrown out of the window and these former world champions slug it out? Major League Wrestling presents the opening round of the Global Tag Team Crown Tournament. The Extreme Horsemen, C.W. Anderson and Simon Diamond, look to advance, but standing in the way are the scrappy siblings Joel and Jose, Los Maximus. In other GTC tournament action, Dr. Death Steve Williams and their protege, PJ Freeman, also eye tag team gold as they face off against All Japan's Jimmy Yang and Mike Sanders. Plus the Samoan Island Tribe, Mike Awesome, Braven, and more. From ECW fame. And Joey Styles calling the action from Fort Lauderdale, Florida history. Week by week with Quinn McKay and Angelina. This link, Angelina Love takes issues with her last week's episode. We get a first look at the torment of a new talent and much more, and updates from Ring of Honor. NXT superstar Adam Cole took to Twitter in the afternoon and relayed to fans in an interesting message to some interesting news he's heard earlier on Wednesday before supposedly the show started. Just heard some really interesting news. If he is that serious about fixing this, then count me in, Cole wrote. Some fan speculation that Cole may be referring to NXT General Manager William Regal, but that has not been confirmed. Cole recently dropped the NXT title to Keith Lee and has been away from the NXT title chase since then. Also, some social media speculation on Cole referring to his recent incident with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show, which is believed to be a work, but we'll see later on in the results. And I'm going with the latter part. No ready yet on how Cole's treat might play into tonight's episode, but stay tuned for the results. A birthday and a death is what this week's episode of Being Elite, episode number 215 at this link. AEW President and CEO Tony Khan took to Twitter this afternoon to announce that he has lifted the storyline suspension of Big Swole. I've told y'all that last week. If you watched my episode for this week, from last week, the Big Swole will be wrestling this week. Khan announced Swole versus opponent to be chosen by Dr. Baker on Dynamite episode. If Swole wins, Baker has to compete in a future match against her. We have another exciting match to announce for #AEW Dynamite on TNT tonight. As I've lifted the suspension of Big Swole at Swole World, and tonight she'll take on an opponent of Dr. Britt Baker's choice. If Swole wins, Britt has promised she will compete in a future match versus Swole. I even predicted who the opponent will be. And like I said, my spoiler alert, Reba, that's my pick from last week. Reba is what they're calling her now, formerly known as Rebel from Impact Wrestling. Baker has been out of action due to an injury and surgery as of late, but the feud with Swole began several weeks back. She is set to return to the ring at All Out on September 5th, and that's likely where the match with Swole will take place. Swole received her storyline suspension last month for judging Baker and throwing her into a trash can during a Dynamite show. Led by AEW Chief Brand Officer Brandy Rhodes, AEW announced the launch of AEW Heels, a female faction, a membership platform for female wrestling fans. For an annual payment of $49, members will gain access to virtual meet and greets, video conference discussions with industry experts, Q&A sessions with AEW talent, customized merchandise, and much more. First event scheduled for Friday, August 7th, later on this week. WWE Digital has given an update on NXT star Dexter Lumis' ankle injury. The severity of his ankle injury is worse than what was previously reported on last week's NXT injury report. This was not in the main injury video. I got this news from a different source. Lumis suffered an ankle injury after defeating both Finn Balor and Sammy for a North American Championship match opportunity. According to WWE statement, his status for North American Championship ladder match at TakeOver 30 is questioned due to injury. Latest news on the situation will be shared on the Bump. Josh Matthews and other Impact stars took a dig at WWE's new project, Raw Underground, from Monday Night Raw on Twitter tonight. It started after Matthews wrote to Impact Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo. This one might need to be settled out. Hashtag Impact Underground. JK, joke, joke. Former WWE star Carl Anderson shared his thoughts on the idea as well. Impact Underground? He replied, please, for the love of God, anything but that. Scott D'Amore added that Josh's tweet might win tonight. D'Amore tweeted, I expect this from at the Tommy Dreamer but not at Corporate VP or at Impact Wrestling. Welcome to the Don't Give a F game. This tweet might just win the night. This tweet might just win the night. Josh replied, I did say JK, means just kidding. As noted, Raw Underground was revealed by Shane McMahon in a shoot fight from Raw. Last night's fight featured Babatunde Ibushi from NXT, Erica the Viking Raiders, and Dolph Ziggler. And also Bobby Lashley's group with MVP. Impact also has announced their 2-week Emergence special for AXS TV. This special edition of Impact Wrestling will air on Tuesday, August 18th and August 25th. Only match announced for Emergence as of this video is Jordan Grace's rematch for Deonna Purrazzo's knockout title, which will take place on night 2. Impact will be announcing more Emergence details and matches beginning on Impact TV. Stay tuned for updates, but I didn't watch Impact this week to get any results. For this week's say so. Official announcement. AEW Dark Link, episode number 45 can be found in this link. Ohio Valley Wrestling has announced that Brian Pillman Jr. will make his debut for the company at the tapings. My long-awaited OVW debut, Pillman wrote in response to OVW's announcement. Tonight's OVW tapings will take place at the arena in Jacksonville, Indiana. Details on the venue and tickets can be found at the link in between. Or go to OVW link. Pillman has been working for MLW, but he wants out of his contract. And he made his AEW Dark debut a few weeks ago, as I think he did the same on AEW Dynamite as well, against Colt Cabana. Things between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara heated up again on Dynamite when he got into two massive brawls at ringside. At one point, Guevara launched a chair into Hardy's head, causing him to bleed profusely. Guevara then put Hardy through a table to close out the segment. Backstage, medical staff had to stitch Hardy up, but Hardy swore, "This got real. I'm not going to stop until I make you bleed." Well, whatever, it's going to be a first blood match. AEW Dynamite results. August 5th. The Elite, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Young Bucks, and FTR versus the Dark Order. Your 12-man match. We're off to the fast start with the dealings of the Young Bucks. Chen and Anna Jay are standing next to commentary, watching the match. One of the minions gets thrown into the match by Lee and gets destroyed. Pretty much everyone on the other team. Omega and Page, with a flurry of attacks, covers. Uno breaks it up. FTR saves both Omega and Page from checking suplexes. Multiple Dark Order members then take the vertical suplex. Cabana gets a shot on Omega. He chases him out of the ring and runs right into a big kick from Lee. Back in the ring, Grayson and Uno work over Omega. Uno with a big boot to the face. Covers for a 2 count. Omega is finally able to tag out. Hardwood takes out 5. Elbow drop, covered for a 2 count. Wheeler in with a big power slam on 5. Back suplex on Grayson. Lariat on Uno. Then tags in Hardwood. Page in there. Now, 5 with a kick and drags him back in to his corner. Grayson gets in there and chops away on Page. Omega with a big blind tag. Grayson takes a ton of strikes. Sends a German suplex. Snapdragon suplex on Uno. 5 tags in, but gets destroyed by pretty much everyone else on the other team. Nick with a step-up twisting splash on 3 Dark Order members to the outside. Hardwood puts 5 over his knee like he's going to spank him. Wheeler then drops down on 5. Hardwood sells a knee injury through and takes a moment on the apron. The entire team seems to check him out. Omega tags in. Gutlord's powerbomb covers Dark Order. All attack while the other team seems more concerned about Hardwood being taken to the back. Omega with a Hurricanrana. Then Mac is back in for the tag. He runs right into a black hole slam by Lee. Covers for a 2 count. Now it's only Nick, Mac, and Kenny in the match as Page and FTR walks into the back. Dark Order being on Matt. Nick and Kenny can't do much. Coat with a big splash. Covers for a 2 count. Matt continued to get beat up as Dark Orders are winning the numbers game. Lee in the ring. Omega with a shot. But then takes a big clothesline. Matt finally gets a window to tag out. But Uno pulls Nick to the floor. Grayson hits a release German suplex. Matt, trying to fend off the entire team, looks for a tag. Nobody is left in his corner. Page finally comes back to the ring. Matt tags him. And Page drops a bunch of guys. Follow away slam on 5. Splash to the floor on Colt. Page looks for the buckshot lariat. But Uno stops him. Hits a back suplex to 5 on the apron. Page climbs up top. Hits the moonsault to 5 on the floor. On the guys on the floor. Back in the ring. Page wants Lee to tag in. Page ends up losing the battle. Colt is tagged in. Hits the Chicago skyline on Page. Covers. Omega breaks it up. 5 with a double stomp on Omega. Grayson and Uno each with a big move on the tag champs. Lee back in the match. Looks for a discus forearm. Young Bucks double super kick him and a bunch of other guys. Omega with a snapdragon suplex while Young Bucks super kick him. Page with a buckshot lariat. Lee ducks. Page almost hits Omega. But he's pulled out of the ring just before Lee hits a big discus clothesline on Page, covers for the 3 count. Dark Order wins the match by pinfall. Earlier today, Best Friends pulled up to the building in Trent's mom's van, SUV, and they will face Santana Ortiz later on. Earlier in the day, again, AEW World Champion John Moxley says he was younger. When he was younger, he struggled with a lot of demons. Moxley says he'd go to the ring and it was like He's wrestling ghosts. People who cared about him would often try to talk him out of doing dangerous things. Looking back, some of those things he changed. Some things he wouldn't. He gets why Darby Allin wants his title. Moxley says in a weird twist, now he's the one trying to advocate for safety and common sense. Moxley says All In is his favorite guy in AEW and doesn't want to be the one that ends All In's career. But once he signed the contract, he becomes just like everyone else. Moxley says, when it's time to stay down, just stay down. I know you're not going to listen, though, because I wouldn't. Best end the next segment. Best friends versus Santana and Ortiz. Santana and Taylor get things going with some mat wrestling. Neither wrestler getting either the advantage. Taylor finally gets the first pinfall attempt, 2 count. Santana with a kick to the midsection, then tags in Ortiz. He's immediately taken down. Trent tagged in, works the arm. Standing double knee stomp, Northern Light suplex, 2 count. Taylor tags in, Orton swings away on both guys. Best friends with a flurry of attacks. Ortiz gets planted on the mat. Best friends do their signature hug. Back and forth chops in the middle of the ring between Ortiz and Trent. Ortiz gets the best of Trent, though. Brings in Santana. Commentary notes that AEW Women's Tag Team Cup tournament will continue on YouTube on Monday at 7 p.m. Trent continued to get beat up on the outside. Trent launches into the barricade. Taylor sent over the barricade back in the ring. Ortiz with a suplex cover, 1 count. Trent selling a back injury. Orton tagged in. Double team vertical suplex. Trent finally fights off of his opponents and is able to tag out. Taylor with a couple of clotheslines. Standing slice bed. Grabs Santana into the mat. Covers for a 2 count. Soul food on Ortiz. Falcon Arrow. Covers for a 2 count. Ortiz put up on the top rope. Trent tags in. Santana runs over and hits him from behind. Taylor gets rid of Santana. Trent on Taylor's shoulders. And then they hit a big suplex on Ortiz. Santana pulls Taylor off the apron. Throws him into the staging area. Trent eats a rolling cutter from Santana. Ortiz with a sit out powerbomb. Santana with a knee to the face. Covers for a 2 count. Santana and Ortiz look for a street sweeper on Trent. But Taylor knocks Santana off the ropes. Trent rolls Ortiz up for the win. Out of nowhere. Surprise victory. MJF's campaign at headquarters. MJF gives an update about his campaign. MJF says there are shipping posters all over the world. MJF gets some gum from one of his workers. He hates it. And he fires him. Lee then is called out for hanging up a poster. That's not level. Which to me, he even got a level, and it was. Nina is asked about the poll, which MJF is leading over Moxley. Someone behind the camera asks MJF, what if All In wins the title tonight? Oh, 125-pound emo kid? Yeah, that would really suck to wrestle him. MJF heads off. So that gives him an idea to interfere in the match. Matt Hardy in the ring talked about having a blast with being able to show off all of his personas, but he listens to his audience. Much like AEW does as a whole. Hardy says he wants to focus on being himself. Although on screen now, off screen, he wants to keep helping others and bring up Private Party. He then says he tries to do the same thing with Sammy Guevara and told him to get away from Chris Jericho. Guevara didn't listen though. Hardy says Guevara once climbed out from under the ring and attacked Hardy, so Hardy decided to give it back to him. We then see Guevara sneak out from under the ring and shows up behind Hardy. Sammy, I knew you'd come. In his previous gimmick, he turns around and they started brawling in and out of the ring. Matt gets the best of Sammy, grabs the table, sets it up. Sammy fights back and throws a chair at Hardy's head. Hardy was busted open from that shot. Guevara then leads off the stage with a twisting splash and crushes Hardy. Matt is bleeding quite a bit from that shot as Guevara heads to the back. Outside the building, Santana and Ortiz had some weapons and beat the heck out of the best friends, bombs the band. They break a ton of windows and spray painting the hood. NWO style. Tell your moms what's good. Or just then sends a sledgehammer into the windshield and it sticks through it. In the segment. AEW TNT champion Cody and Matt Cardona, formerly known as your internet champion of the world, Zack Ryder, Alex Reynolds versus Alex Reynolds and John Silver of the Dark Order. I think the team. Shoving match begins between Cody and Silver. Cody drops down for an uppercut, then an extra delayed vertical suplex. Cardona tags in, hits a big clothesline on Silver. Throws him into the turnbuckle pad. Flapjack covers one count. Kick by Silver. Tags in Reynolds, but he's dropped with a neckbreaker. Cody then tags in and drops down on Reynolds' arm. Cody's hit into the corner. He goes down and slides ribs first in the ring post. Silver then goes out and throws him into the apron. No, it's not Dark Order. Before getting him back in the ring, Silver throws him into the apron before going out of the ring. Big punches to Reynolds. He's still holding on his ribs. Cody ends up on the apron. Silver chips him down on it. Reynolds with a slingshot double stop on him. Silver and Reynolds kick him back and forth at elbow drops. Covers only gets one count. More kicks to Cody's midsection by Silver, who then tags in Reynolds. Cody tries to fight back, but his ribs are troubling him. He really needs to tag out, but is being kept in the wrong part of town. More kicks to land on Cody. He's finally able to tag out Cody, and Cardona's on fire, taking out both opponents. Matt lands a missile dropkick, then throws shots in the corner. Cardona with a double underhook sit-down powerbomb gets kicked in the face. Dark Order goes down on... Yep, I was right. Dark Order. Back and forth strikes into jumper suplex with a bridge for a 2 count. Numbers game. Cardona gets sent out on the ring. Cody back in the ring. Looks for a crossroads. Blocked. Silver then gets suplex himself and Cody out of the ring. Back in the ring. Cardona hits a finisher. It's called Radio Silence. Formerly known as Rough Rider for the victory. After that, Cody and him smile at each other. Cody then makes his way to the back. Scorpio Sky then blocks him for a moment as they share each other down. And basically, he's challenging him for the TNT tournament match. He looks at Cody's title and gives him a tap and walks off. Outside next to the destroyed van, best friends are not happy at all with Santana Ortiz. Trent calls them cowards for what they did. Taylor says all they had to do was ask for a rematch. Trent says they are going to personally apologize to his mom by speakerphone. Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy debate starts up, and Eric Bischoff as moderator. As my prediction from last week was, he sits at a table on the stage. He says he has 5 different questions for tonight's debate. Neither wrestler has seen the questions. Cassidy is announced first. Then Jericho. They will be in the ring for the debate. Jericho comes to the ring in a dark suit. But Jake Hager also brings out the white jacket Cassidy destroyed with all the orange juice on it. Supposedly still smells like orange juice. Jericho is asked, why does Jericho and Cassidy hate each other so much? Jericho thanks Cassidy for dressing for the occasion, which is in his usual gear, jeans, torn blue jeans, and jacket with his muscle shirt. Cassidy then pulls out a clip-on tie out of his inside of his jacket, attaches it to his collar. Jericho then says that's why he hates Cassidy. He says he's a flash in the pan and a nobody. Cassidy is asked for his response. Cassidy don't say anything. Back to Jericho for question number 2. Who is the better wrestler? Who is the biggest star? Jericho says it's pretty obvious what the answer is to the end and rips Cassidy some more. Cassidy doesn't respond. The third question is asked about rising sea levels and the dangers it has to the world. Cassidy doesn't say anything at first. Jericho says to move on. Cassidy then rattles off a ton of facts about rising sea levels and the exact levels, how many feet, and what have you. While Jericho looks on in astonishment. Next question is asked why Cassidy is so popular. Jericho calls Cassidy a pimple on the butt of pro wrestling. Says fans at home can relate to a lazy, entitled nobody. Jericho then says next week he wants $7,000 for his damaged jacket. Then he's going to leave AEW and go back to being a juice guy at a mall. The last question is why this match means so much to both guys. Jericho goes to talk first, but Cassidy tells him to shut up. Stealing Jericho's gimmick. Cassidy says he doesn't care about Jericho. What he does care about is their match next week. Cassidy says it is the biggest match of his life and the biggest of Jericho. Cassidy takes his glasses off, tells Jericho to look at the man who's going to beat and embarrass him. Bischoff then declares Cassidy is the winner of the debate. Jericho can't believe it. Jericho says he hasn't liked Bischoff for 20 years. Bischoff says it's been 24 years and he knows exactly how Jericho feels. Jericho then gets Hager to attack Cassidy as he throws a bunch of shots at Cassidy. He then puts Cassidy's hands in his pockets. Jericho lands the Judas Effect and knocks him out. Best friends run out to the ring and chase the duo away. At ringside, Tony Schiavone asks Britt Baker who she picked to face Big Swole. If Swole wins, she could get a shot at Baker in the ring sometime down the road. Britt picks Reba to face Big Swole. Reba can't believe it. Baker tells her to get in the ring. At first, she's not really me, and so happy she got in the ring. She has trouble getting in the ring, though, acting so surprised. She's a great wrestler in Impact. I know she can wrestle, but she's just selling bad wrestling ability. Swole looks ready for business. Headlock takedown on Reba. She throws a shot to Reba's back. Baker then distracts Swole a bit. Reba throws Swole into the corner. Does it again. Rough-looking release suplex. Reba with an axe kick in the corner. Throws Swole's face in the mat. Reba goes to the top rope. Looks shaky. Goes to the second rope. Moonsault. Nobody home. Swole goes up and throws a discus forearm. Covers for the win. 1, 2, 3. Big Swole gets a future shot at Rebecca. Next week's advertised matches. Cody Rhodes, the champion, versus Scorpio Sky for the AEW TNT Championship. Chris Jericho versus George Cassidy for the $7,000 obligation match. Tag Team Appreciation Night, hosted by FTR. Heyman Page and Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Again, part of the Appreciation Night. Grayson and Evil, Uno versus Young Bucks, Appreciation Night. Appearance by Rock and Roll Express, Tony Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Full Foreigner Tag Team Appreciation Night, hosted by FTR. But will they be together? You get former Four Horsemen versus Rock and Roll Express? Possible, but I doubt it. And your championship match, main event. John Moxley champion versus Darby Allin. Darby hits the ring wearing a black and white paper mask of Moxley's face. He keeps the mask on as even the match begins. He's just standing there. Moxley finally rips it off his face and punches All In hard in the face. He's ready to bleed, already bleeding from the mouth. All In has champion written over and over on half of his upper torso. All In slaps him in the face. But he takes a big lariat. Moxley continues to beat up the challenger. All In finally hits a big springboard arm drag, hits Moxley out to the ramp. Hits a hard suicide dive and swings away on the champion. Both end up on the stage. Moxley fights back. Moxley then launches All In off the stage and he bounces off the ring post. Back in the ring, Moxley continues to beat All In up. Locks him in the STF. All In gives him a double fingers like Stone Cold style. Moxley takes a finger and bends it back. He then throws All In out of the ring. All In grabs Moxley by the arm and yanks him into the top rope. All in then just slams Moxley into Moxley, and they both go to the floor. More punches from thrown by All In. All In with another sideways suicide dive to the champ. All In then has Moxley's hand on the ring post, stomping down on it. Moxley falls to the floor. All In then hits a senton on a standing Moxley. Back in the ring, All In looks for a springboard coffin drop. Block. Paradigm shift. No. All In hits a code red for a 2 count. All In then hits up top. Moxley follows. Hits him across the back. Moxley goes up. He goes for a German suplex. All In over rotates and pretty much lands on his feet, but doesn't get right back up. Moxley gets up first. Wardlow walks out to the ring to distract the referee. MJF runs in and smacks Moxley with the AEW World Title. Then runs out to the crowd. As Moxley's butt busted open, Wardlow makes his way to the back. All In then hits a coffin drop on Moxley, covers for a 2 count. That was super close. Announcers say Moxley's head is busted open after that spot. Moxley struggles to get up. All In throws some punches. Shotgun drop kick over the top center. Back elbow up to the top for a coffin drop. Moxley rotates and locks in a rear naked choke. Moxley tells him to go to sleep. All In looks like he's fading, but he's able to get to his knees. He claws Moxley's eyes to escape. They both stand up. Moxley hits a God-style power jumper, pin for a 2 count. Moxley can't believe it. He picks All In up again, Paradise Shift, and wins to keep the title. After the match, Moxley says some words to All In. Backstage, MJF was not happy that his plan didn't work. And throws off. Moxley continues to talk with All In, who barely is conscious as the show ends. AEW post-show at this link. NXT opens up on the USA Network with a video package to hype the show. Live from the tape delay from the NXT Arena on the campus of Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida, as the developmental trainers cheer in the crowd. With their mask, again, AEW didn't have a mask on in the crowd. Some did, some didn't. Morrow welcomes us from his home. Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix checks in the same way. Hey, just like NBA style, they're virtual. You know what virtual means? They show monitors in the crowd. Number 1 contenders match: Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai. We go to ring out first. Comes Rhea Ripley. Winner of this match will become the number one contender to NXT Women's Champions Io Shirai for title shot at TakeOver 30 event. Dakota Kai was out first to mostly boos. The bell rings and Ripley shows Kai down right to the mat. Kai goes right back and they lock up. Kai takes control and nails a big chop. Charlie Ripley now. They go at it. Ripley hits a big standing drop kick. Ripley takes it to the corner and beats up Kai some as referee warns her. Ripley goes on and loads in the opposite corner as the crowd pops. Ripley with a big delayed vertical suplex for a 2 count. Ripley with a wheelbarrow face buster for another 2 count. Ripley with more offense, dominating Kai and keeping her down. Ripley pulls Kai's hair as referee counts. Ripley with a kick and more strikes in the corner now. Ripley beats Kai back to the mat. Ripley with a body scissors on the mat. Kai resists, but Ripley pounds on it some more. They get up and Ripley keeps the show. Then a big axe kick. Kai sides out of a suplex and then ducks a clothesline. Kai uses her speed and tries to pull Ripley to the floor, but Ripley kicks her in the face. Ripley follows to the floor, but Kai goes to the apron, kicks her in the face. Ripley drives her face first into the apron with an electric chair. Ripley runs right back in for a close 2 count as he goes to commercial. Back for the break. They're going at it. Ripley goes for a drop kick, but Kai shuts her down with a kick for a 2 count. Kai grabs Ripley on the mat. More back and forth now. As Ripley unloads with offense, Ripley screams out after a big basement drop kick. Ripley takes Kai back to her shoulders with an electric chair, dropping her on her face. Kai still kicks out at 2. Kai and Ripley trade more strikes, big shots in the middle of the ring. Kai nails a scorpion kick and yells out about being the number 1 contender. Ripley counters with a pop-up toss in the middle of the ring for another 2 count. Ripley talks trash and goes for the Riptide, but Kai counters with a DDT. Ripley kicks out just in time, and Kai can't believe it. Ripley ends up dropping Kai with a big boot Ripley with a prism trap submission, but Kai counters and sends her face first into the turnbuckles. Kai ends up knocking Ripley into the apron. Kai climbs and brings Ripley to the top for a suplex now, but Ripley resists. Ripley knocks Kai to the mat. Kai falls to the mat as the referee checks on her. Missing Mercedes Martinez dropping Ripley with a big boot on the apron. Kai takes advantage of it as the referee didn't see it. And there's a GTK to get the pinfall. And advances as your number one contender. Action match, Kai versus NXT champion Io Shirai confirmed for TakeOver 30. As Kai stands tall, we go to replays. Kai makes her exit before Martinez returns to the ring and attacks Kai, leaving her down on the mat with a bloody nose. The crowd boos as the newest member of the Robert Strowman brand backs up around. We see the Undisputed Era walking outside earlier in the day. Back to commercial. Back to the right, we see footage from earlier today of Pat McAfee talking to WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels in the arena. Tom says he will hear more on McAfee later. Bronson Reed versus Shane Thorne. We go back to the ring for the out. First comes Bronson Reed as Alicia Taylor does the ring introductions. Shane Thorne's out next. The bell rings and they touch each other up. They lock up in the middle ring. Reed takes it to the corner and then backs off as the referee warns him. Reed tells Thorne to bring it and they have some words. Thorne with a big forearm to the face and another. Reed takes it and wants more. Thorne talks trash and nails another forearm. Reed fires back and rocks Thorne. Thorne also wants more. Reed staggers Thorne with another strike. Thorne drop kicks Reed, sends him to the floor. Thorne nails a suicide dive to take Reed down on the floor. Thorne poses to waste some time as the referee counts. Thorne chops Reed, but Reed counters a shot and pushes him off. Reed with a full Nelson slam on the edge of the apron. The crowd rallies for Reed and brings him back in the ring. Reed goes to the top, but Thorne cuts him off. Thorne fights and climbs up for a superplex, but Reed resists. Thorne is hit to the mat, but he lands on his feet. Thorne knocks Reed upside down in the corner for the tree of woe, and then hits a running senton in the corner for a pop. The crowd rallies now. Thorne nails a Shining Wizard for a 2 count in the middle ring. More back and forth. Reed counters and headbutts Thorne to the mat. Reed presses Thorne high in the air, and then nails a senton for a 2 count. Reed goes for a move off of the shoulders, but Thorne slides out and kicks him in the face. Thorne with a pair of clotheslines, but Reed is still standing. Thorne keeps fighting, and Reed fights back. Thorne charges, but Reed catches him with a huge clothesline. Reed with a big Death Valley driver for a pop. Reed goes to the top and hits a tsunami, splash for the pin and the win. Action match. Reed stands tall, has his arm raised as music plays. We go to replays, announces height. Reed spot in the ladder match for the vacant NXT North American title at TakeOver 30. Reed stands tall, motions for the title, as Thorne recovers and looks on from the corner. We see footage of Breezango arriving to the former Performance Center earlier in the day. SUV pulls up, and out comes Legado del Fantasma. Tag team. Tyler Breeze and Fandango are jumped by Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, and NXT Cruiserweight champion Santos Escobar. They end up stuffing Fandango in the truck and speed off as Breeze briefly gives chase. A video package for tonight's 0% qualifier. First takeover back to commercial. Back to the right, Mackenzie Mitchell approaches the Robert Stone brand. She asks why they interfered in Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai. Stone says Ripley may be done with the Robert Stone brand, but they're not done with her. They walk off. We get footage from last week's 0% qualifier with Finn Balor, Jimmy Thatcher, and winner Dexter Lumis. 0% qualifier for the North American title, ladder match at TakeOver. Damian Priest versus Ridge Holland's debut versus Oney Larkin. We go to the ring for tonight's 0% qualifier. Out first comes Damian Priest. He stops and looks at the vacant NXT North American title on display, as does Oney Larkin when he comes out. Winner of this match will join Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, and 2 other competitors in the ladder match for the vacant title at NXT TakeOver 30. Out next comes NXT UK star Ridge Holland, making his NXT main debut. The bell rings, and they all set each other up. Lorcan attacks Holland with an uppercut, but Holland nails one back. This guy can wrestle. Priest attacks and both drops them to one knee, then toss them. Holland attacks Lorcan in the corner, but Priest hits a bell clap on Holland. Priest with a leaping flatliner on Holland. sending him into the corner for a breather. Lorcan and Priest go at it now. Holland attacks and sends Priest to the floor. Lorcan knocks Holland out of the ring. Lorcan runs the ropes and flies out, taking both opponents down on the floor for a pop. Lorcan brings Holland back in and hits a running uppercut. Holland dodges the next, but Lorcan still rocks him. Lorcan with a crossbody, but Holland catches him. Holland with a big overhead suplex. Priest comes right back in with a strike to Holland. Holland blocks, hits a headbutt, and then launches Priest over his head. Holland clears the ring and stands tall now. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Priest is trading big strikes with Holland in the ring. Lorcan flies off the top and takes both opponents down for a pop. Lorcan runs to the ring, nails both men in their corners. Lorcan then nails a double blockbuster for a 2 count on Holland. Lorcan catches Priest. A Priest kick takes him down into a single leg crab. Priest kicks Lorcan away, but Lorcan uppercuts Holland. Lorcan drops Priest with an uppercut for a 2 count. Priest rolls to the floor for a breather. Lorcan runs ropes, but Holland explodes up and sends him flying across the ring. Holland drives Lorcan into the mat for a close pin attempt. Holland blocks the reckoning from Priest and headbutts him. Holland goes on, hits a big power bomb for a 2 count. As Lorcan breaks it up. All 3 competitors are down and trying to get up now. Holland grabs Lorcan's face, but gets shot. They trade big strikes. Holland drops Lorcan with a forearm. Lorcan just gets angry and does a big chop. Then more strikes. Lorcan with a big running uppercut to send Holland to one knee. Lorcan with another running uppercut. Priest catches Lorcan this time, but Lorcan gets free. Lorcan unloads on Priest from behind by grabbing his hair. Holland with a big clothesline to Lorcan in the middle of a run. Priest comes over and nails a side choke slam on Holland. Priest goes for the reckoning on Lorcan and nails it in the middle of the ring. Priest covers for the pin and gets to advance to the spot at TakeOver. After the match, Priest stands tall as the music plays. We go to replays. Priest shoots on an invincible arrow at the title on display as he makes his exit. Still to come, Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes. Back commercial. Back for the break. Tom talks about how Adam Cole and Pat McAfee had put their differences aside momentarily, and now Cole focuses on the main event, which will see Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly challenge Imperium for their NXT tag team titles. Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes. We go back to the ring. First comes Cameron Grimes, NXT champion. Keith Lee was out next for the non-title match. Lee is all business tonight. Bell rings and Grimes taunts Lee. Grimes returns to the ring, hesitates, retreats back to the corner. Grimes goes to the floor, talking trash as Lee as the crowd boos. Referee counts as Grimes comes back in. Grimes goes to the ring, goes for the leg, but Lee grabs him. Grimes breaks a hole by putting his foot on the bottom rope. Lee sends Grimes to the mat after the referee warns him. Grimes goes for a big kick, but it's caught. Grimes rocks Lee with a big forearm, but it does nothing. Lee gets angry and grabs Grimes by his face, then drops him with a shoulder tackle, and Grimes bounces off the ropes. Grimes goes for another kick, but Lee drops him with a shoulder. Lee launches Grimes into another corner, and he hits hard. Lee whips Grimes into the opposite corner, and he flies out to the floor, landing hard. Referees counts as Lee rolls out. Lee runs around the ring, but Grimes takes his leg out. Lee lands hard on the floor. Grimes sends Lee knee first into the steel ring steps. Grimes goes to the ring steps himself, the ring's post, and takes Lee down on the floor with an Asai moonsault. We go to commercial with Lee down on the outside. Back for the break. Lee fights Grimes off with big strikes. Lee with more offense and a big diving crossbody. Grimes somehow kicks out too. Lee looks upset now. Grimes escapes a powerbomb attempt that tangles him, and Grimes counters a power move, rolling Lee up for a 2 count. More back and forth as Grimes tries to use the ropes for leverage. Grimes with a Superman forearm. Grimes fights Lee off again. Lee catches crossbody in midair for a pop. Lee powers up, but Grimes slides out once again. They collide in midair with crossbody and chest, but Grimes comes out on top for a 2 count. Grimes can't believe it. He waits for Lee to get up. Taunts him. Get up. Come on, get up. Grimes leaps for the caveman stomp, but Lee catches him. Grimes keeps pounding. Lee finally drops Grimes with a big strike. Lee is angry now. and has the crowd behind him. Grimes blocks a move with more strikes in the face. Grimes keeps control once again, but Lee hits a big chop. Then a short arm clothesline. Lee keeps holding Grimes by his wrist, nailing another short arm clothesline. Then another. Lee takes his time and drops Grimes in a fourth short arm clothesline. Lee finally ends up with a spirit bomb for the win. Winner still champion Keith Lee was, of course, on top. After the match, Lee stands tall as music plays. We go to replays. Lee stands in the middle of the ring when the lights go out. Spotlight shines on the ring as we hear Charlotte speaking, carrying across the spears on a big screen. You only get his eyes. He says it looks like we're doing this the hard way. Carl says he hasn't seen the NXT general manager William Regal around here since he signed him. He goes on and says, since Lee makes things happen around here, this is on him. Camera goes wide, and we see several NXT superstars laid out on the ground. Kick chop. Lee watches on from the ring as Cross walks past the bodies on the ground. Undisputed Era, backstage preparing for the main event. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get NXT loud promo for Metallica's Moth Into the Flame, being the theme song for TakeOver 30 event. Morrow sends us a message from General Manager Regal. He puts over the action in the North American title ladder match qualifiers. Regal says Dexter Lumis will not be medically cleared due to his ankle injury. He says Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor are also complaining about how they weren't pinned before. He announced that the 4 superstars who weren't pinned in the earlier qualifiers will compete in singles matches in 2 weeks. Winners of those 2 matches will earn the final 2 spots at TakeOver. We go back to ring. Out comes Legado del Fantasma, Rob Mendoza, Joaquin Wild, and the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar. Escobar speaks while Mendoza and Wild drag Fandango out. Escobar talks about the impotence of Lucha Libre and how it's unfortunate that people like Breezango exist. They bring Fandango in the ring now. Escobar says Breezango plays dress up every week and they mock the Lucha Libre culture and the Great American Bash. They mock their families and spit in their faces as well. Tyler Breeze rushes the ring and Wild and Mendoza beat him down. Escobar addresses Isaiah Scott now and says this will be his future if he speaks his name again. Crowd continues booing. Music hits and Legado del Fantasma stand tall over Breezango members posing with the title. A video package for tonight's main event. Back to commercial. Back to break. Damon Priest is in the parking lot talking to a WWE cameraman. He says the ladder match opportunity at TakeOver was made for him. He goes on and says the reign of infamy will begin at TakeOver. He asks about Dexter Lumis' injury and says it sucks to be Lumis. We all get into this business knowing the risk. Bronson Reed walks up and says he just wants to congratulate Priest. They end up having words and facing off. They agree to have a match apparently next week. Tegan Knox versus Indy Cartwell. Back to ring, and Pat McAfee has joined the announcers on commentary. Tegan Knox makes her way out first. Indy Hartwell is out next. The bell rings in the middle of the ring. Hartwell starts screaming about how she's defeated Shotzi Blackheart. Knox just responds with a big slap. Knox works Hartwell into the corner and works her over. Hartwell comes back with a side slam for a 2 count. Hartwell grounds Knox in the middle of the ring now. We see McAfee at the announce table with Tom now. The crowd rallies as Knox fights up from the mat. Hartwell drops Knox with an elbow and covers for a 2 count. Hartwell grounds Knox on the mat now. More back and forth. Knox mounts some offense and tackles Hartwell. Unloading with strikes. Knox unloads in the corner with kicks now as the referee warns her. Knox with a cannonball in the corner. Hits the Chinese wizard out of nowhere for the pin and the win. After the match, Knox gets up as the music plays. Go to replays. We see Imperium backstage ready for the main event. McAfee says he's sticking around for the match. Back to commercial. Back to break. And added to next week's show is Bronson Reed versus Damon Priest, plus Karrion Kross versus Danny Burch. Undisputed versus Imperium. It's time for the main event. NXT Tag Team Champions Imperium heads to the ring. Martel Bartel, and Fabian Aichner. Out next are the Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. All 4 members. Numbers game. We'll see. Aichner and O'Reilly start things off in the middle of the ring, trading big strikes. They also trade big boots for more back and forth. O'Reilly drops Aichner as Cole cheers him on from ringside. Fish ends up coming in and going at it with Aichner. Aichner with a big backbreaker for a 2 count. Aichner grounds Fish now. Bartel comes in next and keeps Fish down. O'Reilly comes in and Fish gets an opening. McAfee may be building to more heat with Cole on commentary as the announcers warn him. Fish comes back in with the Imperium, nailing a big double team to keep him down. Bartel and Aichner stand tall over Fish as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Cole is staring back at McAfee while Aichner wrestles with Fish on the mat. Keeping control, Cole must have heard McAfee's shots on commentary, which wasn't talking about Cole at all. Fish ends up dropping Bartel on the apron and then back dropping Aichner to the floor. Aichner comes back in and Fish hits a big back drop. O'Reilly and Bartel check in at the same time as the action continues. Morrow says McAfee has called Phoenix to leave commentary tonight. O'Reilly unloads on Bartel and rocks him in the corner. O'Reilly fights off both champions now. Cole cheers him on and focuses on McAfee. O'Reilly sends Aichner to the floor and hits a jacket shoe leg whip on Bartel in the corner. O'Reilly goes on and hits a flying knee drop to Bartel's leg. O'Reilly with a knee bar on Bartel now, forcing him to scream out in pain. Fish comes off the top with a driving headbutt to Bartel while he's in the submission. Aichner with a big double springboard moonsault to free his partner from the hold. Everybody is down in the ring now as the crowd rallies. Cole walks over to McAfee and says he can't hear him. McAfee says he was just joking, but Cole says it's not funny. Cole walks off, but McAfee calls him an angry little elf. McAfee takes water from a bottle to the face and chest by Cole. Cole tells McAfee to do something about it. Officials get in between them. There's including WWE Hall of Famer Triple H and Shawn Michaels. The Click is at ringside, both helping out with NXT anyways. O'Reilly is distracted on the apron, allowing Aichner to nail him from behind. Fish also gets rocked. Imperium hits a big double team European bomb from the corner on Fish, covering him to retain the tag titles in the middle ring. Action match. Imperium stand tall as the music plays. McAfee and Cole still having words at ringside. The officials kick them apart. McAfee walks back over and we hear Cole saying no matter what, he will always be a tiny little B word for the rest of his life. Cole is furious and wants to fight. McAfee, a former NFL punter, takes advantage of Cole being down by the announce table and runs up with a punt kick to the face. Officials order McAfee out of the arena as he yells out about how unprofessional this place is. Cole is shown laid out, face down. Michael calls for a doctor and checks on Cole as NXT goes off the air. Week 43 of Wednesday Night War saw AEW Dynamite pick another win over WWE NXT in viewership and ratings. Dynamite episode drew 901,000 viewers on TNT, while NXT drew only 753,000 viewers on the USA Network, according to Showbuzz Daily. AEW ranked number 5 in the top cable 150, while NXT ranked number 27. AEW ranked number 58 in viewership, while NXT ranked number 64 in viewership. AEW drew .36 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, while NXT only drew .20 in the same demo this week. Based on overnight numbers, Big Brother on CBS topped the night on network TV and viewership with an average of 3.972 million viewers. Big Brother also took number 1 spot in the 18 to 49 demographic with a 1.1 rating for the first hour. The latest NXT injury report can be found this week with Matt Camp, featuring updates on NXT superstars from this week's episode. The following injuries from that link were announced coming out of this week's episode, which usually are part storylines on the most part. Adam Cole suffered an undisclosed injury from the punt kick by Pat McAfee, but no further information at this time. Also noted, Cole vs. McAfee is now confirmed for NXT TakeOver 30. Rhea Ripley suffered a busted nose during the loss to NXT to number 1 contender Dakota Kai. While Ripley's nose was bloody, it was not broken, and she is medically cleared to compete. Dexter Lumis is not currently cleared to compete due to an ankle injury suffered last month, which is why he pulled from the TakeOver 30 ladder match for the vacant North American title. Camp noted that there is no timetable for his return. That concludes my video for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. See you one of you. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.